Hey everybody, what's up? It's Peter Sinkevich from ilovestartup.com, back for my daily blog today. So much stuff to actually talk about and touch upon. Um, Hope you guys are having a good Monday, getting the week started off great. A couple quick updates. So to give you a little insight as to the process and what I deal with trying to build this brand and all the things associated with it. Here's a few different kind of pieces to that. So uh, I'm pushing Fuckup Nights NYC further with my team as we prepare for our third event a month. So the first one was Chelsea. We launched that in April. Brooklyn we launched in September last year. And then this year we're launching this month, next week, Midtown for the third week of the out of the month. So we'll be doing three of these on 3 different weeks in 3 different locations in the city every single month. Pretty ambitious. The team has worked really hard to get here. I'm really proud of them, and really excited to see the results of all of that. So pushing that forward. Also, if you guys don't know, in the middle of doing a logo rebrand. What I'm using now is a bit of a no-no, but it's a hail to Milton Glaser and the famous I Love New York logo, which is probably one of the best designed logos in history for a lot of different reasons. So I've tasked a really talented designer out in Brooklyn. His name's Chris. Um, Chris is always looking for leads, by the way. I would totally recommend him. He's an amazing designer, has some crazy work. But he's right now working on this design. He's thrown out a bunch of really cool things. It's becoming hard for me to kind of pick because he's done such a good job with all of them. So soon we'll be getting some new results, and you'll see a rebrand and of the website, and I'll put out new business cards, and we'll have a whole fresh new look for the year as a result. So really, really excited for that. Cannot even explain. Also, other things in the world going on. Stamford Venture Partners. Still pushing paperwork around. It's always a tough thing. Building a fund is a long and arduous process, and it can be slow at sometimes and a bit frustrating. But still on it, still working on it, and still going back and forth, trying to get the paperwork done so we can start doing some more interesting things with that. So there's that. In terms of Startup Theory podcast, definitely working on that as well. We are in editing right now for several new podcast episodes. That we now have an audio engineer working on the project, so that makes things a little bit easier instead of me trying to hack them out like the first couple episodes myself. I've actually got someone on board that's going to handle the raw content and produce it the way that I need. Also, we're in the middle of scheduling a bunch of new podcast episodes to fill out the content calendar that I created a while back, which basically outlined all the topics that I wanted to hit, schedule them out in the calendar the way I wanted to schedule them out, and had them coincide and miss the right dates so I could go to really big events like Startup Grind Global and South by Southwest and New York Tech Day and a bunch of things like that. So, which are all, by the way, events that we're going to attend with the podcast and then do live podcasts from those events, kind of talking about some of the stuff. So really exciting stuff there. I'm really kind of excited to see, or really stoked to see where that stuff is going to end up going. Magnetic, still pretty secret, wink wink, so can't really say too much there. But work is progressing. And Credit Gardener also almost in the same boat. But it is cool that we finally started our own Slack channel to facilitate easier communication between the various teams. So that's kind of progressing as well. So a lot of balls in the air, pushing everything forward on a regular basis. So that's kind of the thing. As far as what I wanted to talk about today, it's all about this thing on this little blackboard here behind me. There's a couple of really cool things up here, but this one on the bottom right here is the really important one, and that says 85% of your financial success is due to your personality, your ability to communicate, your ability to solve which is basically solving a problem you have, negotiate, and lead. And shockingly, only 15% is due to your technical knowledge. So I want to talk about that for a little bit. So think about that for a minute. 85% of your financial success is due to your personality, which is basically your ability to get people to like you, essentially. That's sales 101. Like, nobody buys anything from you unless they like you first. So, huge deal, being personable, likable, friendly, and approachable with people so they feel like they can start a dialogue with you, engage you in a dialogue, break the ice very easily, have fun, whatever. But personality is a big part of that. And then the other, on the back end of that, is your ability to communicate. So, are you expressing clearly your ability to solve a problem that they have? Right, that's super important. If you're not solving a problem that they have, what's the point, right? Um, Negotiating is the other thing that was mentioned, right? So your ability to find the sweet spot where everyone is happy. And that's usually comes as a result of compromise. That's what negotiation really is. It's compromise. So can you compromise the scenario that everyone's happy with or can be okay moving forward with? And that's really important to say. So I think those are all pretty well understood ideas, but it's always worth reiterating that and making people or helping people understand. And then leading, can you execute? This is the thing we talk about with, investment and startup all the time. Execution, execution, execution. You can have great ideas, you can have great team members, but if you can't drive it to the goal line or you can't work together really well, you're kind of sunk right from the beginning. And investors will be very reluctant, if at all, willing to invest in you because they're investing in your ability to execute the idea to success or to finish, as opposed to, I've got a great idea, come and give me money. And then the last part of that is, shockingly, only 15% is due to your technical knowledge. You don't need to be the doer per se. You just have to have access to all the resources and then be able, like I said earlier, to lead them to the finish line. And that's the really important part here. That doesn't mean like you don't do anything and you're hands off and you're just the person in the corner like pointing the finger. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But it's you kind of think of it like members of your team are like fingers on a hand, right? So you have a whole bunch of different fingers. Each one serves a specific purpose. It might be subtle, but each one serves a specific purpose. And so your team members or the teams within your team are like extensions of your finger, and your ability to orchestrate all of that, coordinate it, orchestrate it, make sure everyone's happy, make sure everyone has what they need in order to get done their work, and is kind of like knocking it out of the park, basically. That is a job into and of itself, and that's the thing I think not enough people recognize. Being a founder or being an entrepreneur, you're kind of like the Pied Piper, and Pied Piper in many different definitions, right? Pied Piper of the team, leading the team. Pied Piper of your consumer base or your customer. Pied Piper of your investor pool and your board of directors. Basically you're the person all these different disparate groups of people or related groups of people come to for the lead and direction on, right? Because it's your vision and you're trying to round up a bunch of people to help you create your vision. So that's my piece today. Remember it again, I'm going to say it. 85% of your financial success is due to your personality and your ability to communicate, negotiate, and lead. Shockingly, only 15% is due to your technical knowledge. Never forget that. As always, thank you for listening today. Love to hear the comments. Please follow us. Please support what we're doing. Like us below, subscribe, tell people, share this video. Whether you liked what I said, whether you didn't like what I said, I'd love to hear it all here. Lay it all out. And until tomorrow, keep hustling. Talk to you soon. Bye.